Thursday night, and then I drive home.
I think I'm going to stay off Facebook today because of the weather. Believe it or not, wet weather has an impact on upload and download speeds.
Come on, Meta.
So I'm just going to stay off Facebook. Stay off the Facebook. No, I didn't mean to do that. So you guys, why don't you guys tally up while I finish putting us on all these platforms?
We have to tally from 2 weeks. We need 15 and 16.
So here's, okay. So, well, I guess I need to fix that page, but here's 16. Oh, you need 15, 16, and then last week's?
Excuse me, 16, 17. Not
16,
15.
17. Okay,
16,
so there's 16, and 17's in the text message logs. So I'll pull that up for you guys. Okay, let's see here. Let's go ahead and edit this screen. I think.
So, are you ready, Brian?
I am ready.
All right, so that's this is week 16.
This is week 16.
Okay. One for all of us. Another one for all of us. Another one for all of us.
We're geniuses.
One for me and Ray. One for Ray. One for all of us. One for Brian and Ray. One for Brian. One for all of us. One for me. Oh, McDurban. That's who that's. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
McDurban picked
He
Texas.
did a lot of good stuff on there.
That's funny. One. So we got the one for me. Was that the last one we got?
I think so. Yeah.
One for all of us. One for all of us. Two for all of us.
All right, that's the week. You and I had 10, and Ray had 11.
And then we need to do week 17.
Okay, yeah, I'll just continue.
So
now I'm running out of room. Let me just go ahead and.
I beat you guys on a week? Wow.
Yeah.
Why aren't you? It says excellent condition. Why is that showing me the preview there?
And then so text message. All right, and then for week 16 or 17, excuse me. Brian, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, a little bit of a down week.
I wonder.
Yeah, I had 13.
Okay.
And then Ray. Let's see. We have 1. Oh, hold on. Brian, you had 8. I'm sorry. You had not 9, you had 8.
Okay.
That's what it was, because I gave you credit for the Eagles, but they lost. So 1.
I got 6.
Yeah. You made up for it the following week, buddy. And I am within striking distance.
Yes, you are.
What'd you get?
Huh? 13.
Yeah, he had a good week.
Damn, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he texted me at one point like, "I am winning all my lone wolves."
Yeah, I didn't know how many lone wolves I had. I knew that you picked against me 6 times. And
Oh, is that what?
and
Oh,
you
that's
were
right.
0-5 going into Sunday night.
Yep, yeah. Then I got my win.
And
Hey,
you were, it was really close to 0-6.
I got the most important win.
Yes, you did.
Felt good. Felt good. So let's see. We got our tallying done. Now let's get our drinking done real quick, I guess, huh?
Oh, yeah. What are we drinking? Let's drink.
Well, let's see. Do we have? Okay, they're all regular shots. So nope. They're all
You
regular.
got one you can take.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
a guarantee. There is
yeah.
a guarantee.
Okay, I will drink that one.
Yay!
The Bowmore.
Brian bet on the Dolphins. Mistake. Against the Giants is usually fine, but on the Dolphins, mistake.
Second half of the season, you are absolutely correct.
That is the most vindicating. I feel bad for anybody who's a Dolphins fan who might be listening.
Horrible alcohol. Never buy it.
But that is the most vindicating call that I made this year. Was that we were calling the Vikings frauds all year long, but for much different reason. The Dolphins to me were just like it really didn't make sense because Tua really just wasn't playing at anywhere near the level that his numbers suggested that he was. And he's going to get a lot of slack from having the injuries that he went through this season, but like to me, if they run with Tua next year, they're going to have the same thing happen.
Well, honestly, with what was it, 3 concussions in less than what, half a season? Like, is he gonna play again? Like, I'm starting to wonder. Like how many concussions in a row are you kind of allowed? I know once you hit 3, that's kind of like the danger level.
Ask Troy Aikman.
How many did he have?
He had a lot.
Did he?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong.
And it was different era too. Like I remember,
But maybe that explains Troy Aikman's announcing.
Yeah. What is it? What's he making? Like $15 million a year?
Oh, on his name, brother, not on his product.
He's one of the hardest working guys. He's just kind of cheesy.
I don't know, man. All right, he's not one of those that I enjoy listening to. That's for sure. All right, here's the ball.
I really like Joe Buck.
I probably wouldn't enjoy listening to the last quarterback that beat my team in a Super Bowl either. Well, actually, that was Aaron Rodgers.
The Bowmore.
Yeah. Was it worth it?
Oh man, that aftertaste gets you, man. That aftertaste is really bad.
So
All right,
is it
Cheers,
worth
friend.
it?
Yeah.
This is for.
What's that one for?
I bet against the Muth, and that was a mistake.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, then you've got 3 more shots to take.
Oh, did I?
Minshew threw exactly 2 interceptions. Miami lost to Green Bay. And Connor was probably the best running back in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Cheers.
You got me 3 out of 4 on that one. You're right.
This week is going to be much different though, because it's such a bizarre week.
Can you pour me one for the?
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's worth kind of calling this week, right? Because there's
so
going to be a lot of
I
teams
want
just
to-
kind of sitting on their heels.
I don't
and
want to like
predict them.
I want to predict the games. I think that's the fun part of the week. I don't want to get into the weeds on fantasy aspects.
No.
this
Fantasy
week.
is just.
Yeah,
I mean, the only fantasy
now,
we'll really do.
Granted, the fantasy season isn't over.
Yes, it is. That's why we're not doing fantasy.
For many leagues, it is. But
The vast majority.
There's just as money at stake for first place in a league that is in my work league that's still going on, as there was in the league that we just finished.
Okay, why is your work league still going on?
Because it's ESPN. And ESPN sucks. Listen. All I said was
You're the veteran, brother. You're supposed to catch these mistakes in the preseason
I'm not-
and fix them for your league. Like,
No,
hey,
I-
guys, don't do this.
I'm not the commissioner of this league, and the person who's running the league has been running it for a long time. I got asked if I wanted to play in a league for X amount of dollars, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
And as soon as you see they play week 18,
I said
aren't you like-
something. I did.
Okay,
I said lots of things during the year.
All right. As long as
this,
that's all right.
this league also didn't use Fab. It was
Right.
just waiver priority. So like I got and it was boosted by your record.
You're right. Yeah. I've been.
So-
I've got actually. I've
Yeah,
been
so
one
so
league,
there. I'm not saying that it was perfect. And I agree with you that week 17 should be the last week of the fantasy season.
and is for the majority,
But
vast
for,
majority.
for those of you who are wondering what the hell we're talking about, we've been in an argument over whether or not our season long bets should be over or should be continuing. And now
and this is our fantasy season,
Yeah.
our fantasy bets.
and now
I think they should be done because I thought it's week 17, we're done.
he thinks they should be done because he bet on McLaurin a lot. And it's like, and
And
it's
he's
like
winning
and it's
all
like
my
the,
bets.
It's like the horse that broke his leg in the last quarter post.
He's winning.
Can I have a beer?
Yes, you
Can I have a
can.
beer?
You want one of these fancy?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like Ken brings them for me to try.
I do.
I know, so I want to
idea.
try it.
So anyway, we'll go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and give in to Ken on this one, and we'll go
Hey, we're
through
gonna
to
be
next
very-
week since I'm going to be drinking
We're-
so
we
much
need to-
already. But
we'll be very careful.
actually, that's
about
all you drinking, but still.
What?
The
It
fantasy
comes.
bets.
It comes with experience, right?
not true.
Everybody will know to lay out the caveats.
It's half and half.
Let's
You're gonna.
see. I won that one. I won
You
that one.
lost
I won that
Judy.
one, I won that
You're
one.
gonna lose the Garrett Wilson versus McLaurin one. That's happening.
Okay, well, I mean, I've got a 13-point lead. We'll see.
You're gonna lose.
And we've got a. Is he a rookie or is he just never played? I don't even know who this guy is.
Exactly. The game's important to the Cowboys.
Right. But we're going to be behind. They want to see what this kid can do. They're he's going to get an opportunity to throw it. You might as well throw to your number one weapon. And hey, we might get the second string.
Yeah, you might as well throw to your
Garbage
number one
time,
weapon,
baby.
so
I'll
throw
take
it
it.
to Jahan Dotson.
Oh, jeez.
So
I guess it depends on the quarterback.
So we should talk a little bit about those dynasty. Like, I really want to want us to start a dynasty league.
Okay.
Really, really do. Because
And I'm
so
gonna-
here's the thing about dynasty is like, so the season just ended, right? The fantasy football season just ended. The dynasty fantasy football season just ended, the fantasy football period. In dynasty, it didn't. In dynasty, we're day one of 2023 now.
Right.
It started over. Like we have fab resets. Like people have access to trading again. Now that the playoffs are over, it's time to go to work.
while we're discussing this stuff, can one of you guys look up the DraftKings scores the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, they're on the text.
Yeah, I know mine weren't good. Mine were bad. But I won my heads up matchup
Yeah, no.
because the weeks were just bad.
The scoring was very low the last 2 weeks, especially last week.
But you were saying we're going dynasty leagues.
So it keeps you involved in what's going on. There's just a whole nother level of things that are important. Like right now is the time where people are trying to gather draft picks. So you're looking at making decisions on whether or not you're gonna roll with guys next year, or if you're gonna try and turn them into draft picks. Or, whether you're rebuilding or reloading or whatever. And I think that's a lot of fun.
And it is.
I found a new podcast this last week.
Yeah?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Dynasty Nerds?
No.
You should check it out. It's it's awesome. Like it's a whole nother level of fantasy football nerding. And yeah, so I've been active in my dynasty league trying to get trades going on. Really excited about my roster. Anyway, I feel like we've gotten kind of lost. What we should do actually, instead of talking, typically we talk about a homer moment. We'd have a homer moment. We talk about our teams. But there was, something that really important that happened in the NFL this week, and that was, the situation on Monday Night Football with Damar Hamlin.
Let me tell you what
who's
people
doing
talk.
much better, which is awesome.
Go ahead, Ray.
Just I don't even know if I want to talk about it, but like not the situation, but what I'm hearing around what you would say the water cooler in regards to how people feel. So I obviously I work in a very I work in a 24/7 environment where people are there no matter what. Mm-hmm. And I kept hearing people throw it around like, hey man, I'm sorry, but if you fall down dead right here, they'll get a stretcher, move you out, but we're still working. Like everybody still has to work. Everybody still has to put nobody just stops and just, we're not working today. And the comparison was kind of made like from the perspective of why, I mean, it's a job, you go to work, and is there some sort of elevated scale?
If somebody died on the floor, work would probably stop for that period. There would be a period of time where work would stop. There's laws in place as far as it would have to fall under grieving. I'm not sure exactly how it would be worded.
I'm sure some people would go home.
But you can't force people to work.
Yeah, I'm sure some people would go home and things like that would happen.
I imagine that the way that I'm not sure exactly how it's worded, but I am quite certain that you would not be forced to go back to work. Anyway, the job would still need to get done.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bigger point. So like if that, and that's what maybe, people are like, well, why didn't they, they still should have played the game or, or something.
I mean, and it wasn't said in a way where it was unsympathetic, but it was said in a way where it's like,
so here's my,
it was kind of, I don't want to say blown out. Like this is kind of why I didn't want to touch, but cause the words are so picky choosy for these things, but
that's because
the vibe was, put the ball down on the field and start the clock. And if nobody wants to play, then the time expires and it is what it is at the end of the day.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? Like run the clock out.
Yeah, the NFL has taken a number of hits as far as PR goes. Yeah. And I think that they all recognize that was a really dangerous moment for the NFL. And so I as to your coworkers, well, hey, if it was our work, that we wouldn't have gotten all that. Excuse me, they're right. You know what I mean? It's absolutely different because it's on TV with professional sports players.
It's the money.
And the money.
It's the money involved.
But you see that spectacle. Now, if you had a 10 million viewers watching your floor when it happened, then guess what? You would have gotten that treatment. You know what I mean?
Probably.
So
yeah,
it's just a matter of eyeballs being on it, and that's just kind of how it is.
You got some numbers?
Yeah, let me give you some numbers here.
Okay.
All right. Ken for week 16 was 150.48.
Dang, 150.48.
Ray was 137.26. And I was 183.5.
Oh my God. 183 point what?
5.
I was like, I didn't have a good. I was when he said 150. I was like, I don't remember having that good of a week. I was like, that's what it was. Brian just scored a bunch of points.
Yeah, I had a good one. Yeah, actually, that was the one that for a good part of the morning, going into the fourth quarter of the morning game, like I was in 8th place in a 10,000 player tournament. Just like, ooh, yes. And then stuff happened, but still.
Stuff didn't happen.
So while you're looking up, do you have game 17 ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Ken, 124.5. Ray is 131.7. And I was 108.9 and cashed. And cashed.
Awesome.
So who was that? Ray was way ahead of the game, and it's been McKinnon these last whenever you've been going off, it's been McKinnon. You've been on McKinnon for the last 4 weeks, and nobody else in the world has been, dude. And he's been kicking butt for you. That's good stuff. So yeah,
got you guys by week.
Huh?
I think.
Ray
I think we're
the
tied.
weeks.
No, me and you are even.
We're tied. Yeah, 6 coming down to the
6
wire.
wins. I've only got 5. I got to win this one.
Yeah, and you get to drink again for that. We're coming in last.
And then with
Be a night.
the whole Skip Bayless thing.
Did you get those other two already?
No, that's why they're still on the board. I haven't
Okay,
paid.
okay.
I,
Just making sure.
Yeah, I erase when I pay them.
So
Legit.
when I first read Skip Bayless's tweet
about tomorrow.
about it. I read it.
Okay, tell me, because I don't know. I saw
okay,
something about
I
Skip Bayless
saw-
put his foot in his mouth.
Hold
and I'm
on.
just like, what else is
What
there?
I saw
Hold on.
was from Des Bryant saying we need to cancel Skip Bayless, and that's a cowboy.
All right, tell me
saying
what
that.
happened. Tell me what happened.
What did he say?
Okay, so let me pull it up. And let me just preface this with, when I read it, I was like, I just didn't think, I was like, okay, that's not so bad, right? But let me see if this is it. Okay. Okay, so here goes. No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game. But how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. So that was the tweet that everybody started
upset about?
chewing his ass off. Now,
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, that's a whole what the heck? Like, who
So,
cares?
so what this to me tells me, because for those of you who don't know, I believe I'm accurate in this. I'm not going to look it up. You guys can burn me for it later. But I believe Skip Bayless he got his credentials in English composition. Like, he understands the English
Yeah.
language. And so to me, it was kind of like a poetic way of saying the
Describing
game.
a rock in a hard place.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. What was yeah. Thank
So-
you.
so-
He was. You should have been stupider.
Yes. Right? So
Like, we're getting to that point. We are getting to that point.
So what I got out of that was the only thing that Skip did wrong was overestimate the reading comprehension skills of the average American.
Yep.
That was the only thing I got out of that. 'Cause just watching everybody explode like that.
that's crazy.
Or they're just, and then there's those just looking for an excuse to yell at him, right?
Well,
So-
I think that's a lot of it is our culture right now is the like knee jerk culture. You know
We're
what I
just
mean?
looking for something to be mad at.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And-
But so you realize, so that's not necessarily culture, because that's not specific to the United States. Like
okay.
that's all over the place.
Well-
That's our government keeps us that way.
I was going to say, is that our government, or is that the influence of the internet? Is that
No,
that
that's
social
our
media?
government.
Is
No,
that-
because we've been doing it for forever. It's just like now we do it on the internet, and and things flip faster. They spin around faster.
For sure.
But it's just information. Like, information is like, depending on powerful propaganda has always had the ability to turn people. It's just the internet just makes it happen faster. The cycles are just shorter.
Right. Well, and affects more people. It hits more people.
But I
so
don't think it's necessarily changed I don't think it's changed.
It's just enhanced.
Yes.
Just like there's always been these idiots out there,
Yeah.
but now these idiots have
Yeah, now they have
a
a voice.
forum to band together.
they have a
you
way to
know?
network with each other.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And so it used to be, it's just one idiot.
Elon
idiot
Musk is
in a
working on it by charging him money to be on Twitter.
but it used to be one idiot in 100 in a village. Who cares?
Yeah.
But now all those 1 in 100s are banding together, and it's like, oh no, what have we created?
That's funny.
He could have easily tweaked that to say something to the effect of what suddenly seems so irrelevant is,
Or,
and
what suddenly was the most important thing on all of our minds just seems so irrelevant now.
then go into the deep
And then say something like, how is the NFL going to proceed?
yeah.
But because the way that he questioned what the NFL was going to do, because that's what I read, was that he was questioning how is the NFL going to navigate this situation, But the way that he questioned it reads to somebody who wants to read it that way, like, how are they going to cancel? How are they going to postpone this game? They can't do that, And like you have to read the whole thing and actually appreciate it for what it is, and that's difficult for people to do because they don't read books.
Yeah, there's certain way you arrange words for it to land a certain way, and if there was a certain sentiment he was going after, of the impact of how this huge thing now all of a sudden is meaningless. Yeah. Let me structure it in this way, and for people, he might as well have been speaking Shakespeare to some of these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's sad that I'm sitting here defending Skip Bayless. Like, this is not a guy that is not the kind of TV that I enjoy watching. You know what I mean? The yell at you, let's get mad about something. Like, that's not the kind of
Argue.
TV I enjoy.
Let's-
But yeah, you're right. Like what the heck? That was not that big a deal. So
That's where we're
I'm
at,
glad you
though.
told me about it. I'm glad you brought that up. I wanted to know what was going on there. So thank you.
So there you
Yeah.
go. Fantasy football theories. Not that we side with Skip Bayless. We just think you guys need to read more.
Not our audience, just people in general.
To go,
right?
in general, yeah.
to go back a little bit to the common consensus, at the plant. That's first of all, there's a lot of people that work there. So there's a lot of people that work there. There's a lot of different lifestyles that these people lead, and come together to work in this factory. So to me, that is it's enough of a melting pot that if you can come up with a common feeling about something, that's a pretty good barometer for how the country feels.
Or at least a certain segment
what I
of the
mean?
country. Yeah,
Because
I
there's
agree.
because
That-
you guys
that
have people working
blue-collar-
at all different. Well, also there's people that make more money than that work there too. There's
but not a lot more.
Not- there's people.
It's probably
they
lower
have-
to middle to middle,
I would imagine
maybe even middle upper
I would
class.
middle
right?
upper class is probably the higher edge of it because middle class is really big.
But
so
the majority. is not.
where do you start upper class? What is that? 100K, 110?
If you're
106?
if you're
I forget.
upper middle class is like you and your spouse making over $100,000 a year.
I think it's over 150. 100.
It is. It really
yeah.
is. But and they have people I think the baseline for people that enter there is still over 40,000, right? So, but it's somewhere around there. So there's a large range.
Yeah, agreed.
That's my point.
So just to answer the question, poor or near or poor is 32K. Lower middle class, 32K to 53K. Middle class is 53K to 106, and upper middle class is 106.
Dang, I nailed it.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. I'm actually kind of surprised at those numbers. I thought, especially with the last,
It just depends on where you're hearing them from because lots
That's
of
true, too.
lots of government agencies like to skew numbers, so, to make things look a certain way.
well, so do news organizations and everybody. Yeah. So does
The
everybody.
news
so-
organizations are political.
Yeah, they say numbers never lie, but yeah, it's not really true.
where
They
their money
definitely
comes from.
can mislead.
So all I was going to say is that I can appreciate where that common consensus is coming from because when you after hearing so many different of not even really opinions, it's just media people saying exactly the same thing, and they don't all believe exactly the same thing. They're just that's just what they have
Like
to
this
say.
is what you have to say at this time.
Exactly.
And I think everybody had I shouldn't say everybody, but here's the reaction I had. And I think it's probably fairly common. Is, oh my God, that's horrible. And I didn't actually see the play, so my first thought is
I didn't want to watch it because I didn't see it either, and and it was they didn't have cameras, so they have the sky cam that goes all over the field, tracks all over the field, can get everywhere. They didn't want to take the sky cam in there and give you footage of what was going on down there. I was like, I don't even want to rewind on my TV right now and watch. I don't even want to see what happened,
Right.
because it must have been really gruesome. So, and it took several minutes for me to find out. It was he just kind of it was just
Yeah,
kind of
it
a regular
really was
tackle.
not a big deal. And
Uh-huh.
so now I see the clip, and my first thought is, oh, that's horrible, but that's not really football related. That's obviously
Something else.
Yeah, some kind
this
of
is not
medical
the NFL's
condition. It
fault.
might have been exaggerated by football, but this isn't. Oh my God, this is going to kill football.
What I told my girlfriend was that all accounts so far are that this is a really good guy.
Right.
He's a really upstanding young man, and so I'm not going to say anything negative about him. I'm
nothing,
hoping
yeah.
that. Well, here's the thing: is so this happens to a player. Typically, things like this don't happen so dramatically, but what happens when your foot gets run over by a forklift at work? What happens?
You get sent to a horrible doctor, and then
Well, what's the first thing that happens?
you call a doctor, you call an ambulance, whatever. Yeah.
Well, they make sure that you're not going to die.
Yeah.
Then
isolate the incident.
Then they drug test you and the person driving the forklift.
That's true.
Right?
That's
Yeah,
true.
something like that.
Right. So here's
actually
I
just
would
went
say
through
that's
that
common
recently, so that
practice.
is-
So here's what's going to happen. The NFL is going to sit by and make sure that he's okay. Then they're going to want to know what the fuck happened,
Right.
because this costs them a lot of money. This is really big for them. Like, there's no way that he's not going to have to answer questions about what entered his body that
Well,
day.
and I hope nothing.
And so what I said to my
right.
I
girlfriend
hope
was
it's
like,
absolutely nothing.
what I said to my girlfriend was like, I'm really hoping that he just finds out he's really sensitive to caffeine or something like that. You know what I mean? And
or
like,
just
and
had
he just like
a weak heart, or there's so many things.
But
that
there's
could be.
so right, and so to speak on that, what I wanted to say about this whole thing that seems like it's untouchable because you can't say anything other than we're with DeMar right now on television, is that I can't stand the fact that these players don't ever wear pads anymore to practice.
Oh,
You see it on the football field. The tackling is horrendous. Like, the guy, like, and I was just watching a game from 2013 last night on my way home. And my biggest takeaway from the game was that there seemed to be a lot less injuries in this game from 10 years ago. And in the last 10 years, all they do is focus on player safety. Everything that they do is about player safety. And like, it's been in the last 10 years that the players have won over against the league and reduced their workload during the week and stuff like that for health benefits.
right.
It ain't working. It does not appear to be working, because to me it seems like more than ever teams are having to go to their second and third players at every position, everywhere.
And
Do you
I would
realize
like to
that
see the numbers on that.
we're going to set a record this year for a non-strike season in number of quarterbacks started.
Right.
So how is it working?
and we're
It's
protecting
not-
them more than ever. Yeah.
And in the game they are. In the game they are. But the thing is they're not practicing any of this stuff. Like, I was listening to them talk about preparation for the game, and they were talking about, it was the Lions versus the Jets. The Lions going into the Jets. And they were talking about how Dan Campbell had saved one of his padded practices, as though it was a fucking timeout he was using through the game. And when I heard that, I was like, that is ridiculous. That the coach has to plan when he's going to put his players in pads because they can't just do it every day. Like, that is retarded. That's absolutely retarded.
But that's something that was negotiated by the NFL.
I know,
by
it
the
was
PA.
by the Players Association, and the thing is,
Well,
it's not working though. Let's
okay.
go back and look at it. Let's go back. Let's go back at the next bargaining agreement and look at this stuff, because it's ridiculous. The players they seem to be getting more hurt than ever, and to me, they're more reckless than ever. And so what I was going to say, and this is not specific to DeMar Hamlin. Like, obviously we're hoping he gets better, but like, that might have happened in practice.
Oh, that particular hit was
It was a mundane hit.
Yeah.
You might, like, if these players were practicing in pads on a more regular basis, you might have learned that during practice. And it might have been less severe.
Yeah, and like I said, we'd have to get the numbers on that, and I bet you we could. I bet you there's ways to look that up. We can probably Google that, but
It'll come out. It's not readily available
But
yet.
you see, like, when you're watching the games now compared to just 10 years ago, the players' techniques are they're horrible, and that's why that's another reason there's so many penalties, because they don't practice. They don't practice with pads all week long, and then they're expected to go out there and perform at the highest level. It's like, you guys are less practiced at tackling and blocking than high school kids.
I'm curious.
And it's like, I know
Could be a good point.
that these are supreme athletes, they're professionals, they've done this for like 10 to 12 years, and it's like, oh, so what now? You're retired and you guys just play on Sundays? Because that's what it kind of seems like now.
Yeah, no. If it's not saving the overall injuries and the important injuries, if those aren't getting better, if they're getting worse, then that's definitely something that needs to be looked at. But again, there's ways to track those numbers. I'd be curious to see how significant they are.
And I mean, like again, this is completely separate. Let's move on from the DeMar Hamlin situation. Like hope he gets better. You know, hope we figured out what happened.
Wish all the best. Yeah,
all the best. But the game, like from the the consumer perspective, this is a product that we all pay for, you know, and these guys, they all sign up to do what they're doing, and a lot of them get opportunities that are, you know, that 99% of other people on the world aren't going to get.
Of course.
So
that's why it's such a desirable thing. Yeah.
Right. So I think it's important. So it's important to keep that in mind, because it seems like over and over and over again, the people who who pay for it at the bottom are just like not cared about. And and to me, in every aspect of life, that's not okay. And the players are not the bottom of this level, the bottom level of football. They're not.
No,
the owners make a lot more money than they do, and Roger Goodell makes more money than they do. But there's also the fans who pay for all of this stuff. That's where all of your money comes from.
Right.
So like making sure that the product is still a product worth watching is important, and it's not just football. I just saw this really funny thing. It was from Greg Popovich, head coach of the Spurs. And he said, "I'm just hoping that the NBA invents a 4-point and a 5-point shot soon, so that we can completely turn this thing into a circus." Because it seems to be like an epidemic, like the football players not practicing, and then on the field on Sunday we just there's a lot of what was that
there's always those moments though.
Not
boneheads are boneheads.
Bonehead plays are bonehead plays, but I'm talking about for me, what I'm thinking of when I say that is when a guy goes to tackle, quote unquote, tackle a dude who's carrying the ball, and he just throws his shoulder in front of him. That is what I'm talking about. That that makes me so angry that you have
and
no
probably most
idea.
head coaches, but that's been going on for 30 years. That's not something in the last
That's not
5,
true.
10 years.
Yes, in the last 15 to 20. Yes, it is.
Know, man.
Absolutely. Tackling has been so much different, and it's because of how easy.
You sound like you're telling me to get off your lawn, brother.
Yeah, I am. I am. I want good football. Damn it.
Well, and we have had some excellent football this year. I mean, as far as just
I don't know,
close, good, watchable, fun, crazy games. I mean, this has been the year for football, if that's what you enjoy. And I think that's what most fans enjoy. Now, there's different hardcore people that have, you know what I mean? I like watching a good defensive game. I'm a Steeler fan.
I like watching a good defensive game too.
I do.
And you know what else I don't like about? So I'm just gonna be an 80-year-old grumpy man tonight.
Obviously,
it drives me up a wall when teams just go for it on 4th and 2, 4th and 3 at the 13, at the 10, instead of just kicking the field goal. That drives me up the wall, because.
But the analytics, brother.
Shove your analytics, dude. You know what? Seriously, shove your analytics. I honestly want to figure out who started that stuff, because we need to go back in time and assassinate that person, because that person ruined football.
This is the whole Moneyball, mentality. You know what I mean?
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It does to a point. It does.
The games still end up the same way. They still end up the same way. So how is it working?
But you have to admit, 7, 8, 10 years ago, the games were much more conservative.
No.
And they were so.
There
were so many times you're just why aren't you going for it? Coaches would never ever go for it on 4th down.
I'd say 30 years ago that was true.
Oh, dude,
I'd say 30 years ago that was
man.
true. But now there are so in the last, I'd say 25 years, there are so few coaches that won't go for it when they're down in a game by more than 3 points, 4th and 1 inside their opponent's 40 or so. Like that, and that makes sense. That still makes sense. But like when I'm talking about, it's the second quarter, and I'll say more than one thing. I'm talking about it's the second quarter. They're up 7-0 or 7-3, and you've got 4th and 2 inside their 20.
Right.
The analytics probably say that you're about a 60% chance to convert.
Right.
You're about a 95 to 100% chance to score 3 points if you send that kicker onto the field right now.
95.
And the game at the end of the game, it's going to come down to a field goal.
Right.
If it's a close game, it's going to come down to a kick or one possession. So why would you give those points up? And it's just, and it's also, it's such a huge deflator to drive all the way down the field and score no points. It's like it's a bummer to not score the touchdown, but getting the points is so much more important most of the time than not getting the points. The other one that drives me insane.
Wait, let me just partially agree with
the
you
other one
on
that drives me insane is it's 14-3 in the second quarter. We score a touchdown. Got to go for 2. Got to make sure that we're within 3 right now in the second quarter, right? No, kick the freaking extra point. Just take the point.
Yes.
Just take the point. Stop it.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. I will partially agree with you. Like I do think that things have gone a little bit too far in that direction, especially by some coaches. You're just like, dude, what? Come on, man. That's taking. Why are you doing that? Just for those examples that you just gave. But I will also say that there's been a lot of changes for the positive. I really like the more dynamic NFL that is, I think, kind of taken place over the last 10 to 15 years. Do I think some coaches have gone too far? Yes. But overall, I like it.
The NFL, it so closely resembles the college game now that I really don't like it. I really don't like that. I really don't like, because it used to be like college. It used to be dramatically different to watch because schools would have their own little schemes that would work in college and then not work in the pros. But now they all run the same offense. Most of these college teams are running the spread offense. The quarterback spends most of the time out of the gun. There's one running back, 3 wide receivers, and a tight end in most offenses. And so many of them run RPOs and these little draw plays, and it's just, I hate it. It's so boring. Like, I like running football. I miss when teams used to be creative with counter traps and stuff like that, and toss plays and just more actual creativity with running the football. And now it's just like, gotcha, we ran the ball. You thought we were going to pass, but we ran.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. It doesn't, with the exception of watching Derrick Henry and the Titans play,
or Atlanta,
it doesn't. Well, even watching Atlanta do it. Even watching Atlanta do it is like watching a college team who just likes to run the football a lot, because they still run. They're running the ball out of shotgun a lot, and they're boring draw plays. It's that used to be what you'd call on 3rd and 20,
right
before you run the punt team out, and now it's like how you run the football. and I hate it. It's so boring.
So anyway, times have changed.
So let's get into our
older
first
than he
game.
looks. Yes.
So first up, we got Kansas City at Las Vegas
These are
Raiders.
Saturday games, yeah.
Kansas City -9, over under 52.5. If you're betting on the money line, Kansas City Chiefs is at -425, and the Raiders are at +340.
The Raiders got themselves a quarterback. How about that?
I just wanted to preface before we got too far into it. Just remind the listeners one more time, if you are listening out there, guys. We're basically just going over the games, giving you our opinions on this one. We're not really going to go over too much of a fantasy aspect until the very end when we do our DraftKings lineups. So we'll save our crazy stuff till then. But in the meantime, let's some actual football, like Kansas City needs to win this game. They win this game and
They can get first. They
get
get the number one seed.
They get the number one seed.
Well,
so
they
they're
do get
highly
the number one
motivated.
seed.
Right.
It's because the NFL has announced that they're not going to play that.
Yes, if
that,
you haven't
the
heard yet.
Bengals Bills game. That is not going to be resumed. So
That works too.
and so another thing I was going to say, just real quick, is I'm okay with that personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game, like circumstances happen all the time. If you look throughout history where games had to be canceled and stuff like that, you just deal with it. That's just the way that it is.
Thank you, brother.
So I'm okay with it, with the game not happening.
Yeah,
Doesn't
no,
bother me.
I'm the same way. I think that it probably would have been done differently if it was earlier in the year, but just the timing and the circumstances, everything else just made sense.
And real quick, from the just one real quick thing about the fantasy football aspect, my personal thoughts on it are just like it happens.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
like
that's
so
the kind
in-
of chaos I root
in-
for.
in
I'm
my-
so happy
in my
about
work
all the
league-
stories
Yeah.
of people like, man, I needed that game to finish.
in our, so in our league of record, basically every important player in the game was on one team, and that team fortunately was not involved in an important game. My brother's team.
Okay.
My brother has Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Devin Singletary, and there was one more that he.
Like Stephon Diggs or something.
No, but Gabe Davis. He had Gabe Davis. Yeah, so yes, it affected him greatly. And in my work league, the guy in the championship game has Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon. So it is, and so now this is an ESPN league, so there's still week 18. But no, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Like, I'm not excited about playing. I'm not excited about going through my ESPN leagues and setting my lineups for week 18 at all. Like, I'm going to be
Nightmare.
like dropping not Derrick Henry, but dropping Saquon.
I did that last
I'm
week.
dropping Saquon Barkley and like, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So
So this game, we have a highly motivated Kansas City going to Las Vegas.
most important thing to know fantasy wise, I guess, is that Patrick Mahomes is within striking distance of Peyton Manning's all-time season record for passing yards. He needs less than 400 yards to get it,
Interesting.
but more than 300. So he's an excellent start in fantasy because
you
for
go.
people who don't know,
Yeah, if you don't know,
the Chiefs
start Patrick Mahomes.
the Chiefs like to collect records.
Hot take.
No, what I was going to say, the Chiefs like to Andy Reid motivates his team in a lot of small ways, and one of the ways that he does it is by letting them know when they're close to records.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I heard that one of the coaches, like, going into this week,
They just got
is
one
like,
last week.
It's like, okay, so and so needs this to get 250,000. So 100, so and so needs
money,
this to
yeah,
get a $500,000.
incentives, yes.
And so they're
That's
going through all the
every team.
incentives. And like,
but we're talking
this
about
is what
like,
we need to get this week, guys. Let's play for us.
They chase minor NFL records, is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like, no, this isn't just like team incentives. These aren't like your contract bonuses. I'm talking about like just little tiny records. So like last week, the Chiefs set a record by having Jerick McKinnon score that receiving touchdown. It's the first time in NFL history that a running back has scored a receiving touchdown in 5 consecutive games.
I did not know that. I would have been with Ray and bet on him last week.
Exactly, and I forgot about it, and left him out of one of my important lineups, and took him out of my DraftKings lineup, and would have left him in for sure.
Yeah, it's funny.
But yeah, so him and I think Kelsey is closing in on one too. I'm not sure what Kelsey's is.
Yeah, who knows? Like his season this year has been amazing, so it could be anything. But I figured he was going to have a good
Told
year.
you, dude. I told you, first round draft pick.
Damn.
I feel really good. That was another call that I made like in the summer that I was like, he's got to be a first round draft pick this year, like, because it just didn't. I mean, what else are you gonna do? And like Mark Andrews beat him out last year by having that amazing playoff run,
Yeah.
And then look at this year. Look at the difference between 1 and 2 this year.
Yeah.
Unreal. And like with Tyreek Hill leaving town, it just all made sense.
Yep.
So anyway,
together.
the Raiders, I'm going to give them a puncher's chance in this game.
Wow. Okay.
Well,
It's a divisional game.
Hey, it's a divisional game,
You never know with
and
those.
based on what they did to San Francisco last week,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They did.
That's what I'm basing this on.
Yeah. Felt like San Francisco just kind of overlooked them there, but yeah.
I think you're right. I think
To a point.
Purdy didn't know. Brock Purdy was ready to play. Always.
So we're all
Him and
picking
Kittle.
Chiefs, right?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. We can be
yeah.
done talking about this.
Yeah, let's move on. Titans at Jaguars. Titans are at plus 6.5. The over under at 40. Money line's at plus 235 on the Titans and minus 280 on the Jags.
This is the best game of the weekend.
Could be.
No, this is the best game of the weekend
No,
because it's
Lions, Green Bay, but
we don't even know if that's going to be for anything. Like it could only be important for Green Bay by the time it happens. That's why I say this is the best game.
I'm telling you, you don't think Guns Mahoney is going to have those Lions ready to play no matter what. Like that is going to be a playoff game whether the Lions are playing for it or not.
I don't think it'll.
Oh no, man.
No, I don't.
Yeah, spoiler alert! I picked the Lions in that one, man. I'm picking the Lions.
You would because.
Has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with our bets.
And that's a mistake. You're picking the Lions in Week 18 at Lambeau.
Yep. It's a new day. It's a new age, sir.
Let's just go to that game since we got a pick already on it.
Somehow this guy won our
segued
fantasy
over there.
football league this year. Somehow he did it. I don't know how.
Did we not mention that?
I don't-
Oh my goodness!
I
I
don't know how
forgot
he
to
did that.
play "We Are the Champions" as we started the show.
The Lions are plus
Yes,
5 over
I
under
took down the
49.
Congratulations
year.
to Brian.
Thank you, sir.
It's well earned.
Congrats, dude.
Thank you, sir. I enjoyed that one.
Over under is 49 plus 190 if you're betting on the Lions and minus 225 if you're betting on the Packers. I'll just take the Packers now.
Wait, did we just skip to that game?
Yeah, we're just gonna do that one real quick.
He threw his pick that
Okay.
way, so I might as well throw it that way.
And I'm picking the Packers.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. And that's just going to be one good hard fought game. Now agreed
So,
in Lambeau.
here's what I think about this game.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't think the Packers are so much better than the Lions that they just walk this game. I think it's close. But the Packers are a veteran team. They've been here before. They've been in these games before.
Who do the Packers need to lose?
The Lions,
No, they just need to win. As long as
Like-
the Packers win, they're in.
if the Lions won this game, it would be the first kind of gotta have it. Like this would be the first time we matched them up in a game where like the Lions really got to have this one, and they did it.
When was the last time the Lions won 8 games in a season? I mean, that's been some time, right?
Can we look that up? I want to know.
And I'm only bringing that up because like I really feel like they've turned a corner. Like something has changed.
So
there. The
I know they made the
mentality's
playoffs in
changed.
2014 because the Cowboys beat them in 2014.
Wow. Okay.
I know they made the playoffs that year.
I would have said 10 years, but
Almost.
that's funny. But yeah,
2017, they won 9 games
There you
under Jim Caldwell.
Fucking Jim Caldwell.
9-7 again, Jim Caldwell. So 2016, 2017, and
yeah, they were 11-5 in 2014.
2014, 11-5. Yeah.
Lost to the Cowboys in the wild card. Booyah.
So anyway, I think the culture has changed there. I think
I agree.
that Aaron Rodgers has definitely developed some chemistry with those rookie wide receivers, which has drastically helped him in the second half. As you know, obviously
They look more energized. They
right.
look-
I don't.
he looks like he's
not all the way there.
Aaron
though.
Rodgers looks like he's having more fun the last 6 weeks.
Well, winning is fun.
Well, they've only won the last 3 weeks, but I'm just saying since around the Cowboy game, like they just
Yeah, since
and that was
the
when-
Tampa Bay
since-
game, when
it was
they were
really
like
since
4-8 or whatever.
really
it was.
since Christian Watson, came on the scene
Yeah.
and
Christian Watson has made all the difference in the world. Like I was screaming
what's interesting?
weapons
So-
all year long, and then Christian Watson finally came back and he had a weapon. And then
we think of
look
him
what
as
happened.
the take the top off the defense guy, right? The go deep guy, like the burner, right? I've been listening to this Dynasty podcast, and I went back and I was listening to their stuff from last year because I just wanted to see how good they were, and that's what Romeo Doubs is supposed to do. I thought, because the common consensus now after we're 18 weeks into their rookie seasons is that Christian Watson is the guy that's going to go up top, and Romeo Doubs is going to be the underneath catching slants and hooks and stops and stuff like that, because that's what we've seen him do. But his profile is outside deep threat. So it's interesting. I wonder where. So I'm just wondering where that's going to go. Like what's going to happen with that? Because we haven't seen Dobbs and Watson on the field together, healthy at the same. We just haven't seen it. Like, and it's coming.
Yeah, next year.
This weekend.
So anyway,
it's coming this weekend.
I think it would be pretty amazing if Goff made it to another
It would
playoff
be-
with the Detroit.
oh, dude,
This would be the
But
this
I
would be the,
think-
this would be the best win of Goff's career.
Yeah,
for sure.
But
And he's been to a Super Bowl, so that's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
crazy.
Well-
This would be the best win of his career.
Yeah, he lost that Super Bowl. So
He
this would
lost
be
that
the best
Super Bowl,
win.
but he won an NFC Championship game.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Not the most exciting win. The most exciting win would probably be against the Chiefs on that. The game that was supposed to be in
the
Mexico City.
54-51 win.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so good. That was I'll never forget that one because I had Friendsgiving that
Oh, really?
that night.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was the best because we had Friendsgiving and it was like the best game ever.
Yeah.
that game was awesome.
Something to yell at.
I'm
yeah.
beginning to feel like that Aaron Rodgers, his whole attitude throughout the seasons has been like, we'll get to the playoffs.
Yeah, wake me up in December is Aaron Rodgers.
And so I don't think he will allow this blemish to happen.
Not to the Lions.
So that's where I'm at with that.
Not to the Lions.
So going
No
back
way.
to the Titans and Jags, do we really want to talk about that game a little bit?
Well, actually,
or-
it's a really good game because
It
both
really is
teams,
my favorite game of the weekend.
because whoever wins goes to the playoffs.
Yes.
and whoever loses doesn't. So I mean,
I believe the Jaguars can still make it.
if Pittsburgh loses, Miami loses, and New England loses,
Yes, which are all possible.
no, Pittsburgh's not.
Pittsburgh
losing.
is the
Pittsburgh
least
is not
likely one.
losing.
Pittsburgh is the least likely one, but Deshaun Watson's playing much better.
No, I agree. No, I'm actually a little scared about
You
this
should
game.
be.
Like do I think we're going to win? Yes. I think we have the advantage here, but
I actually think that's going to be a
I'm
high-scoring
scared.
game. I kind of think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Our division says no because our division doesn't usually do that, but I can definitely see why you're saying
it's a little different now. Like,
Our strength is the running game. Their weakness on defense is the running game.
They can attack.
Deshaun Watson's playing better.
Him and
Yeah.
Cooper really got together
Yeah.
last week, and they
No, I see the
looked
path.
good. They looked good in the snow game the week before that too. Like if Cooper doesn't drop that one pass, that game might have ended up differently. But yeah, this Jaguars Titans game, the Titans sat everybody last week against the Cowboys
to rest.
because the game it wasn't going to matter. They knew if they won this game that they would win the division, and that's their only path into the playoffs.
But the problem is who's their quarterback?
It's Malik Davis.
That's right. Or
Malik Willis.
Willis.
really, I
Malik
think they
Davis
just
is
give
the
the ball to
actual
Henry.
good player from the Cowboys.
I'm sorry. What was that?
They're just going to give the ball to Henry, and
Yeah,
They are going
and
to
that's
give the ball to
definitely
Henry
game
a
plan.
lot.
And they're definitely doing Willis and not Dobbs. They announced that.
I just
I
convinced
never
myself
saw
to
the
take the Titans.
announcement on that.
Actually, to be honest with you, I can't give a definitive on that. And actually watching Dobbs played good.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
honestly, I was more impressed with Dobbs than with Malik Willis. So
Willis is a rookie though, so let's give him a break.
Dobbs is second year, or
Dobbs is new.
Oh
He's a
no, that's right.
journeyman.
He's journeyman, been all over the place. Yeah,
He's been on like 4 teams this year.
Yeah, that's right. And but he looked better than Malik Willis did,
He looked great,
and so I think
he
he
looked
gives them a
great.
better chance
Honestly,
to win this week.
They were able to move the ball a little more than I would have liked,
Yeah.
as a Cowboy fan. But my takeaway was that he looks really tough.
Yeah.
He seems like one of those like Geno Smith type players is probably better than the league's giving him credit for.
Yeah. He definitely looked at last game.
So,
and,
but on the other side, Trevor Lawrence is that dude.
he looks good, man.
He's that dude.
He does look good.
He's like you just want him to be the quarterback on
Yeah.
your team. Like he looks like a monster. Like he's just like it's all coming together. Like he looks comfortable.
And Tennessee's pass funnel.
I think the Jaguars. So the Jaguars won 31-3 last week against the Texans, and I don't think anybody scored more than one touchdown. And Trevor Lawrence didn't throw any.
Yeah.
Like so they were just.
I know my opponent had him against me.
Yes,
Just like,
I saw- no,
yes.
I enjoyed it. It was great. His opponent also had Mike Evans on the bench.
On the bench.
On the bench. I'm gonna get him a
Oh,
jersey.
man.
No, what I wanted to do was get him a jersey and get him to take a picture of it like and then like not give him his second place prize until he took a picture of himself wearing the jersey, so that I could make T-shirts of him wearing the jersey for us to wear at the draft next year.
Oh, nice.
It might still happen. We'll see if we can do it.
I like it. I like the idea.
Anyway, I feel bad for anybody who sat Mike Evans. Just a side note, real quick, but Trevor Lawrence and all his weapons are going to destroy on Saturday night. I really think it's coming out party for the Jaguars.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it. Now there is a world where Derrick Henry just runs all over him for 200 yards.
I just don't. I love Derrick Henry, but I don't want to see that because I want to see these boring ass Titans in the playoffs.
No.
Go home.
This
you
Titans
guys are
team
done.
is not good enough
You
for
guys
the
are
playoffs.
done.
I agree.
We want to see Trevor Lawrence.
So Ken and Brian on the Jags.
Yes.
And that's the thing is like, we'll get to see Trevor Lawrence versus Justin Herbert next weekend. That's what I want.
It feels odd being in the second week of January.
And when there's no playoffs yet.
Yeah,
it is weird. I don't like it. They need to start the season sooner.
All right. So next game.
The next game is the Buccaneers at the Falcons. Let me pull this up.
Yeah.
+4 Buccaneers, over under at 40.5. The money line +165 if you're betting on the Bucks. -195 if you're betting on the Falcons. Bucks all the way.
All right. Well, Bucks have. I mean, actually, no. The Bucks have no motivation, right?
None.
So
They have
they're
nothing to gain.
sitting everybody.
There's 0 to gain.
Okay.
They don't go to the playoffs if they win?
No, they're in. They cannot
they're-
move from the 4 spot.
Yep.
Oh.
Can't move.
So they're locked into their spot. So really, they're not going to be playing anybody this week. Falcons.
They're giving lip service like they're going to play people, and Tom Brady is Tom Brady, so Tom Brady's going to start this game.
play for half or
He
a quarter.
might play a series. It might just be a series, but he's going to start for sure.
So you guys think the Falcons are going to win based off the starters
I
not
actually
getting
do
much
think
gameplay?
the Falcons are going to win this game. I do.
Based off what your
Like,
guys are saying,
I
I
the
could
only
see
thing that makes
Makes
me
sense.
want to take pause is that does Tom Brady really want to go to the playoffs as an 8-9 team? That's the only because he's one of those guys,
Yeah.
like that he might really just want to win.
Okay, now you just swayed me back over to the Tampa Bay side.
And I feel like I'm gonna pick the Falcons because my gut tells me that they're not gonna play very much, and
And quite frankly, this Tampa Bay team is not that great. And so as soon as they start sitting a few of their starters, this team is going to be awful, and Atlanta is going to be able to run the ball all over them, which they've
and
done all
the
year.
Atlanta team's not that bad.
So next up, we got the Pats at the Bills.
If they had an average quarterback, we'd be looking at them differently.
I agree.
+7.5 if you're betting on the Pats. Over-unders at 43.5. +265 is the money line for the Patriots. -320 for the Bills. And I think the Bills have to play to win here, right?
Yeah, another interesting game here. The Patriots have to win to get in. So
Yes.
the Patriots have all motivation to win. Bills, kind of a weird one. If Kansas City wins on Saturday night,
because the Bills can't move out of the 2.
No.
they can't because
can they switch with Cincinnati for
No.
the 3? You're sure on that?
Yeah.
Because they can both end up with the same record. Bills
I
have
think
the
it's
tiebreaker?
conference record. The Bills have the tiebreaker, I believe.
Okay.
Let me. I'll double.
I
check
actually
that right
had
now.
trouble finding
But
that.
I think
looked at that
I'm
earlier.
picking the Patriots in this game.
Okay, I think the Patriots have certainly, like, Bill Belichick would be his first game season back in the playoffs. I believe.
No, they've made the playoffs the last 2 years.
Oh, did they? Okay.
They just keep.
I just keep dismissing Bill Belichick.
I know, but that's a mistake.
So,
It's
so are you
Patriots.
going Bills too?
I have to. I have to because and honestly, like if I'm like
So if
putting
they-
my life savings on the line,
Now-
I'd probably go Patriots here. But damn it, I have to root for the Bills here because I need the Patriots to lose this week so bad.
Yes, he does.
Lose.
And that's the reason I'm picking the Patriots is because I do believe the Chiefs are going to win on Saturday night,
Yeah.
and I don't believe the Bills will have much to play for.
Yeah.
So and I mean also
Maybe I should be choosing the Raiders then.
We
'cause I want
also
Kansas
don't-
City to lose.
we also don't know the emotional state of the Bills.
Thanks, sir.
This is kind of one of those. This is one of those situations where like I could see the Bills just laying an egg. You know,
Or coming out and like playing for their teammates.
if the Chiefs lose on Saturday, I could see Josh Allen scoring 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is like I could see like I expect the Chiefs to win, so that's why I'm going to pick the Patriots because I don't think the Bills will have anything to play for come Sunday morning, and that won't change. The Patriots do, that won't change.
So many factors.
Yes, it is, and
This
that's why I thought
the week of
that's why
factors,
I
week
thought
18.
picking the games was the most interesting part about this weekend, like the fantasy football aspects. Like you don't, and like we're talking about
Which
how
backup do you want to start?
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about how ugly these game scripts might be and how like up in the air like the decisions for the playing time is going to be. Like good freaking luck picking your like we're throwing DFS lineups together, but like good luck. This is just like week 1.
Yeah, putting the DFS lineup together today was tough, and I didn't put a tournament lineup together.
I didn't either. I did
I'll do
cash.
it tomorrow,
Yeah.
maybe. But
I just
there's
submitted
no
the
reason to
same
do it today.
lineup that I did just to throw it. That way I had something in tournament. Anyway, so let's move on. Vikings at the Bears. Vikings -6, over under 43. Money line, if you're betting on the Vikings, is -280. And if you're betting on the Bears, +235. But is anybody really going for the Bears?
Can't.
Betting on
There's
the
no
Bears?
Justin Fields.
Well, and do the Vikings have anything to play for here?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. They have to win to keep the number 2.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's an
so,
easy one then. And the Bears aren't playing their starters, so
Yeah,
or at least their major
Vikings. Well, excuse me. Actually, the Vikings now are the number 3. The 49ers are the number 2. So the Vikings win and the 49ers lose. Excuse me. If the Vikings win, it's so crazy.
yeah, I've got it.
So
right there.
if the Vikings win and the Eagles win and the 49ers lose, the Vikings get the 2 seed. But if the Eagles lose and the Cowboys win and the Vikings win and the 49ers lose, the Cowboys get the 1 seed. and it's just like there's so many things that could happen. The 4 o'clock the 4 o'clock window is going to be fun on Sunday. Because that's when the Cowboy game happens, the Eagles game happens, and the 49er game happens. They all happen in the same.
Yeah, all in the late window.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Seahawks game, the Seahawks-Rams game. Because that's the important one for the Sunday night game. Because if the Seahawks win, the Lions don't have anything to play for.
Right.
Because they lost to the Seahawks like idiots early in the season at home.
Yeah. Mistakes were made.
Yeah.
So next up, we got the Ravens at the Bengals. Let me find their game real quick.
Yeah, we all picked the Bengals. Move on.
Yep. Okay, that's fine. We can move on.
Right?
All right.
There's no Lamar.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then Texans at the Colts. Well, maybe I should still read their money lines, and so everybody kind of knows. Let me see here.
This
+9.5 for the Ravens. Over under is 39.5. +360 on the Ravens and -450 on the Bengals. And then the Colts and the Houston Texans.
is the game of the week. Actual game of the week.
So +2.5 if you are, or Houston Texans has got +2.5. The over under 37.5. +120 if you're betting on the Texans, and -140 on the Colts.
this is the one for the number 1 overall draft pick, right?
Maybe. Yeah, looks that way.
I think so.
I believe they have the 2 worst records.
Yes, they do.
And if Houston wins, right? Am I wrong? Or if Houston wins, I believe they
They still get the last spot.
do they.
Yeah.
The Colts have 4 wins.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
Well, I know there was a scenario where the Texans
They
lost
had-
their number 1. I don't know what
They
that
had to
scenario
win.
was.
Well,
No, there's nobody that's they're the bottom of the barrel. They
someone else
won
had to
twice.
lose. I think it was.
No, there's nobody who has 3 wins
I know someone
That's,
else needed to lose and they didn't last week.
last week. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
But yeah, now
The Broncos maybe.
the Colts got it locked up now.
The Texans got number 1 seed locked up,
Yeah.
or number 1
Or
pick.
the Texans. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Texans in this game.
I'm gonna flip a coin. I don't have one readily available.
What's the quarterback situation like? Who's starting at quarterback for Indy right now?
Nick Foles.
It is Nick.
Oh, I'm
That's
picking
right.
the Colts. Nick Foles has won a Super Bowl.
This is not a Super Bowl.
So wait. Who'd you say who you picked?
I picked the Texans.
I'm gonna pick the Texans too.
Yeah. You guys are just letting me lone wolf all week long.
letting you get farther and farther behind.
Yeah.
At the end of this, we gotta check again and see where we're at.
Brian and Ken on the Texans.
Oh, I put my name twice. Trying to give myself some insurance. So Jets and Dolphins. Let's find you guys. Jets and Dolphins.
Jets have no chance, right? So they're just playing for pride at this point, and Dolphins are
The Jets are playing to keep the Dolphins out of the playoffs.
Fair enough. And the Dolphins are starting their third string. What's his name?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot who I don't even know their quarterback's name.
Yeah.
Still at the
Yeah,
Dolphins, though.
Nope, not me.
Yeah, it's in Miami, but like I say, they've got their third string quarterback.
And they don't
I
have
wish
that-
I knew something about him. Like if he has an arm, then maybe he can at least get it to his amazing
remember
receivers.
So I actually like him as a quarterback better than Teddy Bridgewater. He looks like a better prospect as a quarterback.
So you guys are both going Jets?
He looks like he has better skills.
Yeah, I'm going Jets.
Fuck it, I'll go.
But yeah, against this Jets defense.
Bray's going to make up all the games this week. He's going to catch us.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
At this point, I might as well. Fuck it, just go with the known. All right. So next up, Panthers at the Saints plus 3.5 on the for the Panthers. Over under is at 42 plus 150 for betting on the Panthers and minus 175 for the Saints.
This one's in Nolans.
Basically, everybody playing that normally plays. This is just kind of a game that doesn't mean anything except to the players.
I should just pick against you on all these games.
Man, it's that's hard, man.
Just bring me back.
I'm not sure what to think about this game. I think this is going to be a tough game, hard to call. I guess I'll go for the Saints just because they're at home. But I mean, this is not a game I'd want to be betting on or putting anything on. That's for sure.
So the best quarterback in this game is Sam Darnold.
Well, let's just talk about
he's been
how
playing well.
good he's been the
He's
last
been
4
really
weeks,
good. He's
man.
been
Like
so
all of a
solid,
sudden, it's like what the? Where was this?
He's gonna be in a quarterback competition in Carolina next year. He's played too well for them to just
Absolutely.
like if it's either gonna be in Carolina or someone else is gonna get. He's gonna be competing for a job next year
For sure.
He's played well enough.
He's played too well the last 5 weeks.
I agree.
I was amazed.
And that's the thing that gives me a
gave
little
DJ
pause
Moore
on this
life.
one. Yeah, him and DJ Moore. Just they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he had been starting for the Panthers all year long, you'd be drinking for that one for sure.
You're right about that.
And DJ Moore is he's so explosive. Because I watched that game last week against the Lions, right?
I don't remember.
Yes, Lions. They played the Lions, and DJ Moore had done nothing, all the way into the third quarter, and scored almost all of his fantasy points, and he scored over 20 last week. Almost all of them came on one drive. Because he caught, he caught like an in route for like 15 yards, and then he caught a 35-yard, deep pass, and then he caught the touchdown.
Nice.
So he's just like, he has the ability to score points in bunches in a way, and like not a lot of players have the ability to do that.
So you guys going Panthers or Saints?
He picked the Saints because they're at home. I am going to pick the Saints because the Panthers are depleted on defense. The Saints are very healthy on defense. They've been playing really good. It's a little unfortunate they had that collapse against Tampa Bay. On Monday
I
night,
would have liked to see them in the playoffs rather than
they're
Tampa
a
Bay.
better looking team than Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Love Tom Brady. They're a better looking team than Tampa Bay.
Yeah, no, Tampa Bay does not look good going to the playoffs.
Tampa Bay really misses Shaq Barrett. That doesn't get talked up about
That's
a
the
lot.
tackle, right?
Their defensive end.
defensive, yeah.
He's their best pass rusher. He's been out
No,
for
their left tackle, was it, or
Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah.
He's back.
oh, he did
And
come back.
and Ryan Jensen's back too. So actually, I'm really
Oh,
pissed
see.
off that they're getting healthy just in time to play the
see,
Cowboys.
that's why they went off last week. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little. Yeah, I don't. I'm not happy about the Cowboys having to go. to
Tom
Tampa
has
Bay
his
and play
wall
them.
back. Yeah,
He
that could
does.
be interesting.
Yes, it will be interesting. It'll be a good game.
Better than it should be.
The playoffs are gonna be fun.
Always.
Next up, Browns at Steelers.
So we
Can
all
move
pick the
on?
Saints there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pick the Browns.
Yeah, it's kind of predicted that a little bit. So Browns plus 2.5, over under 40.5, plus 120 Browns, minus 140 Steelers.
Yeah, you keep picking against my Steelers, bro. How's that gone the last 6 weeks? But no, obviously I'm picking the Steelers. The Steelers.
I think I only picked against them last week.
No, you've been picking against
No,
them
I
for a
haven't.
while. It feels like it.
No.
No.
Just look.
Oh. It probably feels that way because of the way I read.
No, we all
worded
picked
that text
Steelers
message.
week 16, week 15. Me and Brian
Yeah,
picked
you kicked it,
Steelers. Week 13,
We all picked them.
we all picked them. Okay, so
Yeah.
he's been on it.
Mixed
He's been
bag.
hot and cold.
But anyway, Steelers, they can actually still make the playoffs. Well, first of all, the most important thing is we can get to 9 wins.
Yes, that's the most important.
That is the most important thing. Now Tomlin can continue to say that he's never had a losing season, which honestly is important to all Steeler fans. Like I am friends with several Steeler fans, and we're all thinking the same thing. Like, win this one for Tomlin, damn it, like get it. And then on the other, we can actually still make the playoffs if New England loses to Buffalo. So if Buffalo actually is playing for something on Sunday, we've got a really good chance there. But if not, then that gets a little interesting.
And I'm thinking this is your new existence as a Steelers fan, is that you're gonna, you're hoping on week 18 for some things to happen so that you can get into the playoffs. Meanwhile, Joe Burrow is dominating your division.
Oh, you think this is going to be a permanent thing?
You get used to this. Like Joe Burrow, you guys.
Oh, come on now.
Oh, seriously,
This was such a break-in year for us.
You really think that you guys
Such a
have
transition?
You really think you're going to compete with Joe Burrow?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
you're crazy.
You've seen our defense, right?
Over the next 10 years, Joe Burrow will win more division championships than the Steelers for sure.
Do I sense a 10-year bet? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and until I get a better sense for Kenny, it's hard, to make anything like any bets like that. But if Kenny is decent, I don't think he's gonna be a world beater, but I think he could be a good quarterback. And if he is,
I don't think he's anywhere close to Joe Burrow.
no, I don't either. I think Joe Burrow is a superstar. I do.
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying. It's unfair. It sucks, but
I hope that Steelers and the Bengals go up each other in the playoffs.
But I mean, you guys did it to the whole division with Ben for a long time. But that's what it looks like now. Is the Bengals have the best quarterback in the division by a lot.
And right now I would agree with you. Yeah,
Lamar's not close to Joe's level,
not there,
and Deshaun's not either.
and doesn't have the sustainability.
No, I don't think so. And I like Deshaun. I would take Deshaun Watson before I would take Lamar Jackson to build my team. And I mean, let's all things being equal, let's not
Take the past out of it. Yeah.
So next up is Giants at the Eagles. Giants plus 14.5. The over-under at 43. Plus 650 if you're betting on the Giants. Minus 950 if you're betting on the Eagles. Who's starting for the Eagles quarterback?
Jalen Hurts is going to play. The Eagles are going to crush them,
Yeah, the Eagles have everything to play for. They're playing.
and the
for
Giants
the first,
have nothing to play for.
Exactly. Giants are sitting everybody.
They can't move. They can't be moved out of the 6th seed
So this is second string Giants versus the best team in the NFL
all season long.
It's a tall order, man.
The only thing that that could happen good from a Cowboys fan perspective is that Jalen Hurts is actually hurt, goes out there and re-aggravates his injury,
yeah.
and Philadelphia's season just unravels in week 18. That would be beautiful.
Yeah.
but I don't think
from
it's
a Cowboy perspective.
no, not just. I don't think just the Cowboy perspective. Fuck the Eagles. Everybody hates the Eagles.
See, I'd rather see the Eagles win than the Cowboys. But
How? They're in Pennsylvania.
I don't
You're
get
not allowed to root for the Eagles.
no.
You're not.
There are two teams that I just have.
This is what you don't know about being a displaced Steelers fan. You don't understand the hatred that actual Pittsburgh Steeler fans have for the Eagles. They hate the Eagles. They hate Philadelphia. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania hates Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
That's true. I've heard some of those things, but yeah, I have not experienced anything.
It's West versus East.
Next up, Cowboys at Washington Commanders. Minus 7 if you're betting on the Cowboys. Over-under's at 40.
So fast.
Minus 320 if you're betting on the Cowboys. Plus 265 if you're betting on the Commanders. This is one of those
and-
games where the Commanders, I could see them playing hard just because they're playing against the Cowboys.
But the Cowboys have everything to play for still.
Yeah.
Because of when the game is happening, and the NFL did flex the Giants Eagles game. It was originally supposed to happen at 10 in the morning. They moved it back so that
So Cowboys had
this game
had
is
to play.
competitive.
Yeah.
Yes. So the Cowboys have everything to play for at kickoff.
And the Commanders are starting
Sam Howell.
at quarterback.
How?
And if you're asking yourself, who? Yeah, join the rest of us.
Yep, we are too. I didn't even know he was on the roster.
He's third string behind Taylor Heineke, Carson Wentz. Third string behind those two.
Yep.
Let that sink in.
Yep.
So he's getting his first start against the Cowboys, who have everything to play for.
And
welcome to the NFL.
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be an ugly game. Cowboys should go out and take care of it by halftime.
And I think they're going to do it through the air for anybody who cares. Like, because
It's kind of a tough.
the Commanders do have a good ground defense.
And is Pollard healthy?
I don't know if he's going to play or not.
Right, but is it like he'd normally
He
play?
could have played last week too.
Right. Okay, so he's just
They're
getting a breather for
resting
the
him,
playoffs. Gotcha.
Yeah. They're being cautious.
So we're all going Cowboys? Mm-hmm. Are we all going Chargers at the Broncos?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Really?
Really?
Oh, actually, wait, well, do Chargers have anything to play for in this one?
It depends. We don't know.
Okay, yeah, we need to talk about that one.
So, so the Chargers, we don't know if they have anything to play for until after the 10 o'clock games.
right, and what does it depend on? It depends on.
It is the Ravens Bengals game.
And they need the Ravens to win, right?
No, if the Ravens do win,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, so chances are they're not playing for anything. Got you. And so, which case they're going to sit Herbert, they're going to sit Eckler.
We don't know exactly what
We
they're
don't know
doing.
for sure,
We don't
but
know,
we-
and we do
we
know.
don't know, but we know.
And I still I don't feel great about picking the Broncos, but I'm
Yeah.
doing it. I'm gonna ride with Russ on this one.
I don't know if they can even accidentally win.
Come on, Russ.
So next
Come
up,
on.
Rams
Sorry,
at Chargers.
I'm thinking about. I'm rethinking this one. I didn't realize they were going to have nothing to play for.
Broncos don't have anything to play for you.
Yeah, they don't, but they're still starting all their starters, and it's a divisional game.
And those starters don't care to play with Russ. And
Yeah. All right, I'm going to stick with the Chargers, I guess, but I don't feel good about
They
it.
love Russ. What are you talking about?
all right, next up, Rams at Seahawks. Seahawks have anything to play for?
Let's go Rams.
Yeah, Seahawks need to win to get in. They need to win and somebody else to lose, or do they just need to win?
The Seahawks need to win, and I think they need Green Bay to lose.
Yes, that sounds right. So Seahawks have
Because
everything
Green Bay
to play.
is the only one that controls their own destiny.
Right. That's right. And Green Bay is the night game. So Seahawks won't know. So they're going to be like, this is a playoff game for them.
Yes, it is.
And the Rams have been playing
Rams been looking
surprisingly
good.
well. Like they're definitely like looking out for next year. They're testing out new people. They're putting Cam Akers out there to see if he has any juice. See if they're
He
gonna
looks
put him
great.
on the trade block or if they're
dude,
going to keep him.
So-
They're doing good things.
So, real aside for that, I'm interested in trading for Cam Akers in Dynasty. Like, he's got 2 more years under contract
Don't trade a lot.
with the Rams. I like him. I like him. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying. So I'm trying to shop Saquon Barkley.
That's funny.
He's he's gonna be a free agent.
No, you just acquired him. That's why I think it's
Well,
funny,
yeah,
right?
well, I acquired him for Alvin Kamara. So, and the reason I did that was because I felt, and I was right. Barkley had a better season than Kamara did.
Yep.
Gave me a better chance to win this year, and
Looks like he'll be better next year.
he was
too.
going to be easier to sell. That was why I
Okay.
wanted him over Kamara, because I knew Kamara was going to be fine this year, but selling him was going to be difficult.
Yeah,
And I
he's
was-
suspended next
and
year.
I felt I was
so-
going to take a hit if I tried to sell him. Whereas Barkley, I can still I can clean up if I trade Barkley. And so I'm looking at trading him for like a first and Cam Akers.
I'm wondering if, sorry, stray thought here, but I'm thinking in my dynasty, I'm like, I wonder if I can get Kamara on the cheap if he's going to be suspended next year. Maybe I can trade something.
So
low and get him.
I think Kamara and Eckler and Henry are all excellent targets. The one that, like, I have Zeke in my dynasty league because I bought into him knowing he was going to be a ride for this year, and then next year is like him and Mostert both. Mostert feels like I could almost just drop him, but Zeke, I don't know what's going to happen because they have that situation. Pollard's a free agent too. Zeke is technically under contract for 3 more years.
What are they going to do? Yeah.
They could get out of it without, taking too much pain on the cap this year. So a lot of people expect them to walk away from Zeke. I kind of don't. I expect them to live with Zeke and not pay another run and let Pollard walk. And I'm not saying that's the right decision. Like, I think Pollard definitely has more, to offer throughout the rest of his career than Zeke does. I just kind of see that like them doing that. I kind of just feels like that's what's going to happen. Like, Pollard's going to get a deal from somewhere, and Zeke's just going to stay. And the Cowboys aren't going to do anything to cut him because they don't have to. And Jerry Jones isn't one of these penny pinching owners.
Yes,
he'll spend the whole fucking cap every
And that's, I think it really depends on the postseason here. So I mean, like how the Cowboys do, how many games they play, and who the stars are
so
in those
thank
games.
you for bringing that up, because actually the other thing I can see happening is if they win the Super Bowl, I can see Zeke retiring
and Pollard getting a huge contract
from the Cowboys.
Well, and the thing is Pollard.
That actually, I'm rooting for that now. That's what I want to happen. Zeke right off into the sunset with a championship, and the Cowboys keep Pollard, who's going to be like Austin Eckler for the next 3 years.
See, and he's not an Austin Eckler.
He's better.
But on fewer plays,
he's a
12 to 14 touch guy.
They don't ask him to do what they ask Austin Eckler to do, but the Chargers don't like asking Austin Eckler to do what they ask him to do. They don't want him to be that high of a workload of a running back. He's not very similar to Pollard. He's not built that way. Like, he's a smaller running back. He's 5'10", under 200 pounds. And Pollard is right at 6 foot and right around 200 pounds. But he's faster, and he's more explosive between the tackles. So I could see Tony Pollard like getting a deal from L.A. Imagine Tony Pollard in Sean McVay's offense.
Well, here's the problem with Pollard is that to me, it's built in that it's a 2 running back system. You have to have a thumper.
That's the entire NFL.
You have to have another. You have to have another complementary running back. And that true. But you don't like so.
And Tony Pollard does, but
he's going to demand.
If you put on the tape,
running back one money.
If you put on the tape for Tony Pollard, he deserves running back one money. He's going to finish as the RB6 in fantasy this year after missing a game.
I get you, but we're going to have somebody to compliment him so he doesn't like. You're going to have to be paying twice in your backfield.
Every single team does that. Every single team has
but
multiple
Pollard's
running backs.
Have a higher price tag.
He's going to cost money.
Yes.
But he's not going to be like. Who's a comp? Who's a comp to? Man, there's so few of them now. You don't have any of them now. They're just gone.
Running back money is so hard to predict.
Yeah, because there's no running backs that demand that money because there's no like.
And when they do, it usually doesn't work out.
So McCaffrey, I guess, is in terms of like higher echelon running backs that demand a contract and like what you'd have to pay them, like comparable running backs, like that's where you'd have to put them, right?
With McCaffrey. That seems too high, but
look at what a player like Christian.
Actually,
Kirk,
that seems a lot too high.
Look at what a player like Christian Kirk pulled in this year.
Well,
and here's the thing:
that was in Jacksonville, so I mean you have to take that into account.
And he paid off. Made the Pro Bowl, over 1,000 yards, like 8 touchdowns this year. He was well worth it, and like,
incredibly surprising as well.
And they're really just scratching the surface because that he was the main option for their offense this year. Like, look at next year when they're gonna come back with Calvin Ridley. like that offense is going to be insane next
Now,
year.
now Ridley, like how done a deal is that? Like, what do we know
They
about
signed him to an
him?
extension.
Right. I saw that, but
You saw that, right?
like,
They-
what do we know about his mental health and what's going on with him?
Oh, he signed an extension.
That's always so.
What
That's what I'm
else do
saying.
you need to know? Like he,
That doesn't tell us anything.
the
man.
only okay. I mean, then
I'm just
okay.
saying you still have to put high risk. in that.
Okay, hold on. Your pause is coming from things you've heard on social media and through the media, right? Right or wrong?
I don't do social media, so
I'm sorry. Through the media. Your pause is coming through things that you've heard through the media, right?
My pause is just coming from the fact that it seemed to be a mental health issue, and I don't know where that mental health issue is.
But you know
That's
what
all.
that? But you know what the mental health issue was?
No, I don't. That's why I'm asking.
The mental health issue is that he wasn't like he honestly wasn't sure if he wanted to play football or if he wanted to be a gamer.
What kind of gamer?
I imagine probably like probably some first person shooter
Call
or
of Duty, something.
or maybe League of Legends or something like that. But that's actually so for
That's so funny.
real quick aside, those guys make legit money.
Do they really?
If you're the highest paid League of Legends players, can you pull that up, Ray, real quick?
Really?
Oh yeah, wait for this.
Oh wow. I'm shocked already. but-
Ooh. you have no idea. There's teams.
Well, I know about the teams and stuff, but I didn't think they were that highly paid.
Yeah, and they're like, and it's crazy because like, not our generation necessarily, but these guys are like megastars.
Through his career, Lee Sang-hyuk, a LoL player from South Korea, also known as Faker, earned over 1.43 million.
One year, huh?
Yeah, that's throughout his career. 1.43 million. Let's see what else.
I know there's bigger contracts than that. Like that's earnings, but they're I don't know if we actually have all their contract information. But
I see. So contract plus plus price pools.
Yes, because it's not just about their earnings from the tournaments that they play in. It's the fact that it's all broadcast now. So there's people that pay them because they know that they have these players. They're going to have people following them and watching their Twitch channel or whatever. Anyway, that was his deal. That was the only thing that he ever did was that first of all he made that bet for like $1,500 or whatever.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's what he got suspended for.
Yeah, I forgot.
And then he was like, I don't even know if I want to play football.
Yeah, F this. I want to do something I enjoy.
But there's no way that a contract for the amount of money that he signed gets signed without both sides being like.
Well, see, and that's why I was asking, like I was genuinely asking, like, what was his mental health issue? What was it? And if it was simply like, dude, I don't know about this. I want to do
just-
something that's more fun in my life.
That's all I read from.
And if that's the case, and he's like, okay, that was cool, but now I'm coming back to football. Nah, you're right. Now I'm all in. Now I'm like, oh my God, Trevor Lawrence is going to be amazing.
He seemed like a
next year.
25-year-old kid who didn't know what he wanted to do and had too much money.
Yeah, and if that's the case, I mean, good on him. Okay, cool.
And it's like, I mean, with the way things were going with the Falcons organization, can you really fucking blame him?
Yeah, no doubt.
Like the whole
No doubt.
situation was lost. But anyway, the Jaguars traded for him and immediately signed him to a 5-year deal. I'm in.
Okay.
I have him in Dynasty, so obviously I'm a little biased, but I've been paying attention to that situation, very, very closely, and I drafted him to my Dynasty team when he was still, with the Falcons and suspended. We had no idea what was going on, so it's been nothing but like,
I'm gonna go see who owns him in my dynasty league right
arrows
now.
up for me.
I'm like, I wonder if I could get him cheap. Because
maybe.
that's good information, brother, that I don't think most people have. So thank you.
I'm so excited, and I'm trying to get Trevor Lawrence too. Like I'm trying to make a deal happen right now for Justin Fields because I have Justin Fields, and trying to get Trevor Lawrence, trying to turn Justin Fields into Trevor Lawrence.
That'd be awesome.
And most of the websites would tell you that Justin Fields is a more highly valued asset, and I don't see it that way. Justin Fields awesome.
Yeah, and he might be a better value for a season. But if you're talking over a career,
He has a higher potential in an individual game.
right?
Season to season, like in over
The
the
way
span
he
of 5
plays,
years.
there's going to be too many injuries in his career.
I just
There
like
is.
what you see, like what Trevor Lawrence does is so much more repeatable week in and week out.
Yes. No, he is the better quarterback.
And so yeah, that's Spoiler. That's where I'm going next year. Is I think the Jaguars are going to be awesome.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be so much fun.
Yeah, honestly, I'm anxious to see what they do in the playoffs this year.
Me too.
So
Yeah,
should be fun.
It's going to be so much fun to watch them.
All right, so we got one more game now.
Yep, the Cardinals at the Niners. Cardinals plus 14.
Okay,
This is the one. Like this sucks because I really need the Cardinals to win this game. Like because the 49ers have a better conference record than the Cowboys, so I don't just need the Eagles to lose and the Cowboys to win. I need the 49ers to lose too.
So what he's trying to tell you is that the Niners have something to play for. The Cardinals.
What I'm trying to tell you is the Cowboys
packing
are
it
about to
in.
be the 5 seed. That's what I'm
Yes.
trying to tell you.
Yes.
But
yes.
actually, I mean, it's funny though because like in that scenario, it still could. This could still happen. The 49ers is the 1 seed, the Cowboys is the 2 seed, the Vikings is the 3 seed, and the Eagles as the 5. That could all still
That's a
happen.
possibility,
That's
yeah.
still all possible.
You want to bet on that?
No, no. Although I
Give
would
some long odds on that one.
although I would be much happier to see the 49ers with the number 1 seed than the Eagles.
You think the Niners are more beatable?
Well, no, I think it's easier to go watch a game there. 'Cause we live in California.
Sorry.
Something.
Misplaced motivations there. So yeah, let's all take the Niners on this one.
Yeah, I can't take the Cardinals as much as I want to.
Yeah,
And
it
there's
sounds like McCaffrey might not play, but I really don't see how that makes a difference. Debo is going to play, but who knows how much? It's probably just a warm up game for the playoffs for him.
I'd be surprised if they brand him out there. That would surprise me.
They activated him. Like he's going to be on the field. It's just
They had to activate him.
Oh, was it already?
Yeah.
It's already been 6 weeks.
No, you only get like 3 or 4.
I thought it was.
The
six.
IR is different now.
Okay.
Yeah, there's different levels to it. Ever since COVID, they introduced this 3-week IR.
Oh yeah.
So when you put them on it, they're on it for 3 weeks, and then you have 21 days to activate them.
Okay.
But yeah, he has missed that much time.
All right.
He's been out since the Bucs
And if
game.
you are playing DFS, wait till tomorrow to find out what's going on. But if McCaffrey's out, Mason should be good.
Oh, McCaffrey
or
would-
Elijah Mitchell.
The
whichever one's
49ers
starting.
the 49ers do have something to play for, so I wouldn't expect them to rest anybody.
Right.
Like Debo is an exception because he's been injured and they've been winning without him. So I don't like. I wouldn't like.
And
You're
they
not
have
going
to
to
be
rush him
rested.
back against the Cardinals.
And same argument for McCaffrey. McCaffrey, like same thing. Like they don't want to wheel more McCaffrey out there unless they have to.
Well, but that's different because McCaffrey's been playing all the games and he's and he's healthy. And like McCaffrey's averaging over 20 touches a game,
I mean, yeah, I'm
over
just-
130 yards a game.
I want to save McCaffrey for the playoffs. You've got Brock Purdy as your quarterback trying to go to the Super Bowl, man.
What I would expect,
saving McCaffrey.
I would expect a little bit lighter of a workload for Christian McCaffrey. Like I wouldn't expect him to have more than 20 touches because he's not going to need them. First of all, but I would still expect him to be a very startable fantasy asset
even
this weekend.
with that injury, huh?
McCaffrey,
Yeah,
I'm,
he's got some kind of injury going on.
McCaffrey always has some sort of injury going on.
No, it was like they were talking about holding him here. Let me look it up real quick because I think it's more serious than you do here.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about it.
And
I watched the game last week, so-
not on San Francisco.
So I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, I watched the whole game. I don't know what we're talking about.
It says he's not on the injury report as of today.
He should.
so
Yeah,
there you
like
go.
yeah.
It was ankle knee up to this point.
I didn't even think about that. Like my brain didn't even think. Hey, you watched this whole game. Use your memory from the game to talk about his injury. Yeah, there was Christian McCaffrey didn't leave the game last week that I'm aware of.
Right. It was. I think it was described as a minor ankle tweak or sprain or something like that. So it's just one of those things that, they probably want to hold him out for a week, rest him up, and play him in the playoffs. Is what I'm thinking.
I don't think so.
All right, we'll see.
I'd be surprised. They don't want to lose this game.
So I would say that he's going to get
there's
less than 14 touches.
The
What do you
49ers
think?
have too much to play for.
Over under 14 touches.
Over.
All right, let's put it on the board.
Yeah. Hey, we got a board bet.
get something up there.
Like I thought he might be a little gun shy. He's been losing so much.
Oh, come on. 1 week. I lost 3 out of 4. Come on now. That is not the standard.
He lost 3.
Moving on to DraftKings, I know I don't know his shot.
Like his season long lead on calling games has dwindled.
Oh, yeah. Before we go into DraftKings, let's look at that. So I'll go ahead and read that out while we're talking about it. So we have Brian leading the pick'ems at 157, Ken right behind him at 154. So who is beating us right now? Vinny Lyer from Sporting News.
At 169, and that's the highest, huh?
Yeah. Jamie Eisenberg, 168 at CBS. Gridiron Experts, Doug Burrell at 168. USA Today's Nate Davis at 168. Tim Collishaw for Dallas Morning News at 167.
Tim Collishaw.
NBC's Mike Florio, 167. ESPN's Matt Bowen at 164. CBS David Richard at
Who are we right next to?
162. So if we
like-
want to fast forward, Ryan Wilson still beating us,
Michael David Smith. You're tied.
but by 2. College Football News' Pete Flutak, 158. USA's Today's Jarrett Bell, 158. And then we start tying. We tie NBC Sports' Michael David Smith. Brian has tied him. DraftKings. You beat DraftKings picks at 156. Brian has 157. FanDuel, 156, also beating. CBS's Pete Prisco, 155. So beating Ken by 1, but not beating Brian. Pete Prisco's from CBS, 155. Oh, I think I just read that. Dan Graziano, 155. Not beating Brian. So here's where Ken starts tying these experts. CBS's John Breach at 154. FF Face-Off Aaron Schill at 154. And now here we get...
I beat Mike Clay. Yeah.
Yeah, now we're starting.
Mike Clay.
So we're Brian and Ken beating ESPN's Mike Clay. College Football News' Nick Shipkowski.
That is awesome. That makes me very happy. I'm sorry, dude.
No,
I love Mike Clay. For anybody listening who doesn't know, Mike Clay is awesome. Like he does the wide receiver cornerback matchups for ESPN, and his DraftKings lineups are insane. He's consistently scoring 150 plus points on his cash lineups. So to be like picking above him in games, that's awesome. That's super awesome.
Nice.
All right, so everybody that Ken and Brian are beating. Brad Castronovo, Mike Finelli, CBS's Will Brinson, James Breyer, CBS's Jason La Canfora,
He's way down there.
Yahoo Sports, Yahoo Users. You guys are beating the Yahoo Users. And then enter me. Now I, along with Ken and Brian, we are all beating
ESPN's
Jeremy Fowler. College Football News, Jeremy Moss, Ryan Miner, Lawrence Icona, ESPN's Dominique Foxworth. Let's see.
awesome.
Let's read some more ESPN names. Jason Reed is under 100, so everybody else is under 100.
Woo!
That's who we're beating.
I'll be right back for DraftKings.
Yeah.
And we'll move on to DraftKings. I'll go first, I guess, since Ken is... Well, I'll wait for Ken. Because he might have some comments on some of our lineups here.
Yeah, it definitely feels good to get some of that that validation. You know what I mean? The number one guy was 12 picks ahead of me, which over the season that is 12 picks is a lot. But
the thing too that I think we need to consider, and people who are listening need to consider, is we do hold ourselves accountable for being homers.
yes,
So these guys don't do that, but we do. So there's all those picks that we would have, pushed up a little, give us some marginal more points. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. And the last couple of weeks, when it gets into playoff season for me, for draft or fantasy football, playoff season. Now I'm like, okay, that's all I care about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm that's what I'm betting on. That's what I'm rooting for. Like one of those, like one of the picks tonight was, the other team's probably, the Packers are probably
there's
going to win,
some
but I got to take the Lions here, or you know what I mean. I had a couple of picks like that tonight, and I'm just, we have that, we've got that heart, man. It's like, oh, this is what I want, man. I want it so bad, and when you're doing the fantasy football, you just, man, you want what you want.
So one of the things I was telling Brian, I was bringing to the attention was, we don't stray away from our homer pick. Like, that's not something we do. So, but if we did, that margin would be even tighter.
Oh, are you talking about the picks?
Yeah.
That's so funny that you're still talking about the picks, because I was thinking about that. I was like, you know what? Actually, I hadn't even thought about the fact how many times I just like put the middle finger up and just and made picks just like based on like I knew this was going to be wrong, but screw you, I want to be right. So yeah, so that's really good. So yeah, even when we're goofing around, we're better than
Yes.
all right?
If we were really serious, we'd be at 170. I'm just saying.
Yep, at least.
So my lineup for draft.
All those times you picked the Steelers and you shouldn't have.
No. there was 2 times I picked against them early in the season. Bad things happened. And I regret those days, okay? I'm sorry. It'll never happen again.
So my DraftKings lineup, starting with quarterback Kirk Cousins at 6,500 against Chicago. It just seemed like a ripoff.
Very nice, very nice.
And then let's get into it. Running back Freeman for Houston, Montgomery for Chicago, Godwin
You say
for
Royce Freeman?
Yeah.
I swear to fucking God, he scores Royce Freeman,
2
dude.
touchdowns. You heard it here
I
first.
swear to God, dude. That's not a name that we've heard since 2019, I don't think.
Well, that's what we thought when he picked McKinnon for the first time.
I know.
We're like, what?
I know.
Fire.
2 touchdowns later. All right.
Fire. Anyway, Godwin for Tampa Bay, Metcalf for Seattle, Osborne for Minnesota. Tight end I picked was Kittle, and my flex was Gage with defense Chargers. That's what I went with.
All right.
Who's next?
I'll go next if you want.
Sure.
All right. This was a hard lineup to put together. I tell you what, because so much of it, you're just looking through it
so
like,
bad.
okay, so who's starting?
He's not
You know what
actually
I mean?
gonna play.
Who's going to play all the way through the game? Who's going to only play half the game, but are they worth it? Like, some really tough decisions here this week. So here we go. Cross our fingers and throw some darts. We're going to go with Geno Smith at quarterback. And we're going to go ahead and pair him with DK Metcalf. So
we're all on Metcalf this week.
okay. So yeah, that's my stack. Like I say, Seattle's playing for something. I almost went with Kenneth Walker there, and I definitely wouldn't blame you for going Ken Walker and going a different direction. But the price, it was kind of a 50-50 toss up for me, and the price considerations made me go with Geno Smith.
Walker was
and
over
Metcalf.
7K this week, right?
No, he was only 64.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had him in my lineup, and then I switched him at the last minute. So, all right, running backs. Najee Harris, I think, is a must play this week. He's been playing well. Pittsburgh has something to play for, and the Cleveland run defense is just atrocious. So, Najee Harris seems.
Najee's been
automatic.
awesome the last few weeks.
Yes, yeah, he's really been picking up. I feel like
It's almost like he was hurt to start the
and
year.
healed up. Yeah, it's weird.
So weird.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's actually good.
You can really tell the difference, and it makes me feel so much better because I was
mid-season,
I was just like,
I was
oh my
never
God,
off of Najee.
Was I wrong?
I was no, I was. So my whole thought this season was like I was surprised they never shut him down.
Yeah.
You know, because he got so much bad, publicity. Like Najee just like took it on the teeth all year long.
But
So,
yeah, no, I
good
mean,
for him.
Yeah, I totally agree. And he's out there, he's killing it right now. He's looking great, and he's going to look great this weekend.
Yep, I agree.
My other running back is one of those interesting plays that you would never play except for week 18.
With the Mike, the fantasy hitman, right? Might call a nasty boy.
There you go. Nasty boy. I don't even know his first name. It's Jay Williams. Running back for Washington.
Oh,
He's-
Jarrett Williams.
Jarrett Williams. There you go.
He is gluteus minimus.
Gluteus minimus.
I don't know exactly why, but I know that they're talking saying he's got a small ass.
Well, he's doomed now. Now he is going to be the starting running back for Washington this week. Gibson is out and Robinson is out, so Williams is the next man up, and he's just going to get some work. And for 4,300, it's hard to go away from him there. Wide receivers. This is where I paid up a little bit. We went with Stephon Diggs at 7,900. We've got Olave at 6,200, and we've got Wilson at 58. I do have the caveat that if Buffalo is playing for nothing on Sunday, I'm going to switch out Diggs and Williams, and I'm going to put in let's see, what is it? Miles Sanders and DJ Moore, I believe it is. But anyway, I'll make that switch if I need to. But as of right now, I'm going with Stephon Diggs.
DJ Moore, he said.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
his
Week
lineup,
18, baby.
His lineup might include DJ Moore and Garrett Wilson,
And Garrett Wilson, yeah. And I'm still going to win those bets.
and no Terry McLaurin. Weird.
Well, yeah.
Weird.
Who's the starting quarterback for?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Washington?
I'm just saying. Even if I lose those bets, I feel like I won. With you.
Yeah, whatever. Drink up. Drink up.
we'll see, drunkie.
Tight end, I thought was pretty easy this week. I think Higbee is going to kill it. Seattle is absolutely horrible against the tight end, and Baker proved last week that he really likes Higbee. They don't really have any receivers right now. Higbee is their best option, and Higbee's got the best matchup. So I really like him at 4,400.
That's a good pick.
And then I've got the Jets versus Miami as my defense, and that's strictly because Miami's got their third string quarterback out there, and the Jets are cheap. So
The Jets
seems
are
like-
cheap.
Yeah, seems like an easy pick to me. So that is my lineup, and take that with a grain of salt because I'm drinking for last week right now.
Drink up, loser.
Can win 6 fantasy weeks.
Alrighty. The
Might be your week.
This is my week, man.
the seventh.
We got to end up 6, 6, and 6.
Nah, it's gonna be 7-6-5
Nope. For Ray.
for me. Ray's betting on Kirk Cousins.
I got some fire going on in that game.
All right, if it happens, it's because of Royce Freeman. I can't wait to
That'll
watch
be
that.
great.
I can't wait to watch that.
I almost hope, I almost hope he wins with
like
Royce
how
Freeman.
much was Royce Freeman?
Like
Let me look
4,000 or something.
Yeah, it was
right?
like hella cheap. Let me see here, and he had like 3 consistent games.
Because I
or
mean,
something.
Zach Moss is only like $5,100 in the same game, so to pick Royce Freeman. Is okay. Anyway, my lineup.
4,400.
My quarterback is going to be Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
At $8,200, the Eagles have everything to play for. Jalen Hurts has had a MVP type season.
Mm-hmm.
He's been out for 2 weeks and maybe gotten even like closer to winning the MVP while he was out because they've looked like they've needed him so badly. And the Giants are playing nobody. So I while I don't expect that Jalen Hurts is going to need to play this entire game, I do expect him to hit somewhere around 30 fantasy points because they're just going
Even if he only plays a half. Yeah.
they're going to wreck the Giants for sure. They're going to wreck the Giants, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to lock up the MVP.
Sorry, I'm looking to see, like, I'm looking at the teams going, who else is an MVP candidate this year? Like, who? Mahomes for sure.
It's Burrow. Like
I don't
Mahomes.
think
It's,
Burrow's not going to do it. Mahomes is a candidate.
you don't think Burrow could do it? That's crazy.
No, not this. No.
That's
He had a slow start.
crazy.
No, just compare him to Mahomes
Yeah,
for this year.
he beat him.
Well, whatever. That
All right, so your lineup.
come on,
Your
man.
lineup?
In total, like you like Burrow's season better than Mahomes' season this year?
I do.
Oh, see, I totally disagree there.
I do. And now hold on. Now
And Burrow has two
I'll-
top-notch weapons to throw to.
he does, but here's the thing. Just give me a second.
All right.
It's not fair to Patrick Mahomes, right? but he kind of lives under Andy Reid's shadow a little bit. Like a lot of like Mahomes makes some
Like the Brady Belichick.
Mahomes makes some incredible plays, right? But I also think he makes enough like mistakes and goofy plays that when you like compare just the quarterback that he is versus the quarterback that Joe Burrow is, that it's and the situations that they have, that it's I think it's easier to give Joe Burrow more credit. Does that make sense? Because he's in Cincinnati, who's a perennial loser. He has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins now,
Right.
but he was showing signs before Jamar Chase got there. Like he had a great season before Jamar Chase got there. And heads up, he just keeps beating Mahomes.
And to me, that's a very fluky stat right there. Like, and no, I mean, it's what he's 2-0, right? Like
Three. It's three
is it
consecutive.
3? Okay, impressive. That I will absolutely give him credit. That is absolutely impressive.
And they were all one-score games.
Which again leads to the fluky conclusion.
But no, he had to do it. Like Burrow had to win the game. Like he has like been successful at winning the game against Mahomes. And it's like, as a Cowboys fan, it, like, I maybe it's hard to quantify how impressive that is. But as a Cowboys fan who's like gotten used to like your quarterback playing great and then just like making a clutch mistake in that important game at that important moment that costs you the game, Joe Burrow never does that. He just doesn't do that. And Mahomes does. Mahomes gave up a game this year. Was that maybe I'm remembering last year's.
I was going to say I don't remember one this year.
I think I'm remembering last year's Baltimore game.
You're maybe here.
Yeah, I think that was last year. But Mahomes will do that. Mahomes will just like throw the ball up for grabs. And a lot of times he gets saved. But sometimes he doesn't. Whereas Burrow is just a more solid quarterback. And
Where did you leave off in your lineup?
Huh?
Did you finish it?
No, I didn't.
No, he just started it.
I'm sorry, guys.
You might want to start over for continuity purposes.
Yeah, I should. I'll start my lineup over. So I started with quarterback 8,200 Jalen Hurts. He's going to kill the Giants. Okay. At $6,200 running back, I've got Cam Akers. At $6,100, I've got Najee Harris. My wide receivers, I wanted to do this last week, but I pulled back because of the quarterback situation for the Cardinals. But Colt McCoy is supposed to play this weekend, so I'm going to start Greg Dortch at $3,800.
The Dorch.
The Dorch. At $6,700.
And that's because Hopkins is out.
Yes, and there's no Hopkins for everybody who doesn't know. No Hopkins this weekend, so it's going to be Hollywood
makes
Brown
a big difference, yeah.
and Greg Dortch. Yeah, it does make a big difference. We all have DK Metcalf at $6,700. To pair with Jalen Hurts, I've got Devontae Smith at $7,500, who has just been going off.
Yeah, I looked at
lately.
I looked at him.
I wanted to pair a receiver with Jalen Hurts, and I went with Devontae Smith because he was cheaper than AJ Brown. And I don't like. It's hard to predict which one of those two guys is going to have a better game at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
At tight end for $3,600, I got Tyler Gronklin. I was super happy about that call last week.
Who are they playing?
They're playing Miami, and Miami has been awful.
Are they bad against tight ends? Okay.
Then in my flex, somehow at $4,900, Drake London. How is Drake London still $4,900 with the last month that he's had? That makes no sense. Absolutely no sense.
Yeah, everyone's remembering the previous 2 months.
Yeah, I guess, but it's like for what he $4,900 every single week he's paid you.
Yeah,
In the last 4 weeks.
He comes with that big risk factor, and I couldn't quite put him in my cash lineup here, but
We talked.
looked at him.
He was he was
We
definitely
talked about this.
consideration.
It's just with its volume. Like you,
Yeah.
he's been doing it without scoring touchdowns. He's been producing 14 plus PPR points without scoring touchdowns. And that's going to happen eventually. I'm not saying it's going to happen this week, but it doesn't need to for $4,900. Like he's going to score. Like for $4,900, you should just plug Drake London into your lineup right now.
All right.
And then at defense, $2,900. The Minnesota Vikings playing against Justin Peterman. Is that I don't even know. Nathan Peterman. Nathan Peterman, not Justin Fields. They're not playing against Justin Fields, and the Vikings have everything to play for. So I'm just kind of
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, there are a lot of defenses you could choose this week between all the second, third,
That's
and
the-
fourth string quarterbacks.
That is the benefit to all of the chaos that's going on in your skill positions, is that there's a lot of defenses that are undervalued because
yeah.
of situation.
But they're always so hard to predict that don't pay up for them. That's always been my philosophy. Don't pay up for the defense. Always,
I don't do it in tournaments.
Take a value.
I do it. I like to do it in cash.
But like last week is the perfect example. Was the San Francisco defense was the chalk defense that
Well, not
that
for
was
me.
just like you have to take
The
them at that
Giants were the
price.
chalk defense.
Well, no, chalk is what everybody took. Giants ended up being the defense.
They should have been the chalk defense.
but the chalk was San
I know
Francisco.
that. The Giants were the best streaming option last week. Everybody knew that. So like, it would surprise me if they weren't also a common DFS start.
If I remember looking at the charts, like the Giants were like consensus number 6 or 7 start for the week.
Wow.
Behind the San Francisco and the.
I was not starting San Francisco over the Giants last week. I was not doing that.
Really even with that. God, who were they playing? They had like a second or third string quarterback.
Jared Stidham.
Yeah.
but he's from New England.
So
Who's his coach? It matters. That stuff matters. It does matter. He knows he knew the offense, and he knew the offense, and his head coach knows him, knows what he does well.
yeah. No, and
That matters.
and he showed out last week.
So I'm not saying I was expecting the Raiders to fucking challenge the 49ers and score 34 points against the league's best defense.
Did not expect that.
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that, like, to me, that wasn't the automatic, like, oh, the 49ers are to shut them down, situation that.
But you expected him to score more than 4 points. I'm just saying that you don't want to spend up on those chalk defenses because defenses are just super hard to predict and they could do anything. That's all I'm saying. So if you can, pay down.
If you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would much prefer to, like, take a shot on a defense that's like $2,500 and under. It's like, oh, yeah, this is
Or
a
at
really.
least under 3,000.
Like, you talk yourself into, a scenario for one of those teams. And in tournaments, I just like, it's not worth it to spend up.
No, not at all.
In tournaments, it's just not worth it to spend up for the defense. Really, like, you have to really have come to like a magical lineup that just allowed. Oh man, I have $5,000 here to spend on defense, like in order to spend on a chalk defense in a tournament. But in cash lineups, I do like to, I don't like to just punt at defense because because you're gonna score less points than you are in a tournament, and it's just gonna be closer. It's gonna be tighter. So I don't like to give up those points. While defense, its touchdowns are unpredictable. So who's going to be the number 1 overall defense, the number 2 overall defense? That is super hard to predict on a week in, week out basis. But picking a defense that's going to finish in the top 10, top 5-ish isn't super hard, I don't think.
Well, and we're talking DFS here, and so in DFS,
I'm talking fantasy points. I'm talking fantasy points.
I'm talking DFS. I'm talking hitting the top 5.
But in DFS, that means like holding your opponent under a certain threshold of points, yards, hitting sacks, and enforcing turnovers. Those are the things you're looking for. Touchdowns you can't predict. You cannot predict. And then every single week, you're going to be watching football, and you're going to get a game break, and some defense scored. You're like, Here, throw your hands up because, like, you know, it's unpredictable. But
and that was me last week.
But
because
that's
I was
okay.
like, I almost started the Giants. Damn it!
But that's funny, but that's okay as long as you pick a defense that is going to be like in the game and has a chance to cause sacks and turnovers.
Yeah. That's what you're looking for.
That's
for
what
sure.
you're looking for.
Yeah.
And I don't like in cash lineups. I don't think that's so hard to find for around 3K that you shouldn't do it.
You should be able to pick up somebody with a higher baseline, like a higher floor, but picking that ceiling for the defenses is just impossible.
Yeah,
I
no.
guess that's
I
my
wouldn't.
point.
Yes,
Yeah.
don't try and nail the ceiling, like,
but you can pick a floor.
you can
That's
pick
fair.
a floor. Yes.
I think with that, we will see you guys all next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Good luck in your fantasy championships.
Oh God, I hope you're not playing this week. I hope you're just listening this week for fun, and you could like tell us that you won your championship in the chat or something. But yeah, don't play week 18. My God, what are we doing here?
Season-long bets only.
Oh, jeez. So when betting with Kevin, when betting with Ken, make all your caveats clear. Like, make sure you know exactly what you're
When
betting.
betting with Ken, you don't have to be very clear with Vegas on your bet.
I'm just saying, Vegas would have had all the byline, all the fine print there for me.
Yes,
so,
they would have. I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah, we need fine print for our
Yeah.
bets.
See you guys all later.
I blame
All
the
right.
production crew.
See you, bro.
Bye, guys.